Hello, everybody. Duncan Harris. I'm the CEO of Capital Community College, and I'm here today with Joy Lee, who's one of our amazing students that attend Capital Community College. And I invited her by to share a little bit about her experience here at Capital and her plans, for the future. So thanks for coming out,
Thank you for
Joy.
having me.
So could you tell me a little bit about where you're from and perhaps what your experience was like, before coming to Capital most recently?
I'm from West Hartford, and I went to Hall High School. Before coming to Capital, I spent my last 2 years of high school fully online because of COVID. So it was really different from my first 2 years of high school. And when I was coming into Capital, I was expecting a similar experience to feel like not so much alone because there's still like the online aspect of everything, but definitely more like individual focused learning.
Yeah, it's interesting because the last 2 years has been tough for everybody. The college has been very mindful of that, and of course we've always put safety first with regard to kind of the pandemic, vaccination and social distancing. But the campus is coming back alive now. We're aware and cognizant that students are seeking exactly what you talked about, the opportunity to kind of be engaged in the college in a different way, to make friends, to connect with others that are attending here. So could you talk a little bit about that transition and how you've gotten involved at Capital and what that experience has been like?
Yeah, so when I first applied, I went onto the website and pretty much signed up for all of the clubs.
Yeah, okay.
Just like get an idea of what was there and how I could get involved. And I wasn't expecting much because of like what was going on, but even with the few people who like were on campus and showed up, it made coming into the school feel like an easier transition.
Yeah.
And it was nice to find people with similar interests to me, and people with different interests to me that I could talk to.
Yeah, that sense of community. I mean, it's our middle name, right? Obviously, Capital Community College, but we're aware of how important that is for students to have these opportunities to engage with one another, identify mutual interests, and that causes students to want to come and stay on campus and hang out. And we know that the more that students are engaged in their college experience, the more likely they are to be successful and then transition on. Can you talk a little bit about, as a part of that community, obviously there's the faculty and the staff. So could you talk a little bit and maybe share a few of the individuals that have contributed to your experience and making you feel that you belong in this community?
Yeah, off the top of my head, I can think of a few. Ashley Coleman, Professor Lawson.
So Ashley runs our mentoring program, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So we have a program, brother to brother, sister to sister, and that's okay. And then who did you say? Professor Lawson.
Yes, Professor Partridge, Professor Wood, John Thomas, Helena Carrasquillo, and Randall Wood, just to like name a few. They're all really helpful, whether it was like academically, with jobs, with clubs, with meeting other people who could help me. If they didn't think that they could lead me in the right direction, they all tried to help me, and I know like a lot of other students to succeed wherever we wanted to go.
It's interesting. One of the things that we know is that students are more likely to be successful if they can identify a strong support person that works at the institution. So it sounds like you have 5 or 6, and you do a very good job of that. You mentioned just now finding a job. So I'm familiar, you work on campus, right? So how does that work out for you?
I think it works really well. It gives me the opportunity to like meet new people and see my professors like outside of class because I'm around. And I think it's a good way to like get involved even if clubs aren't your thing, because you're still able to be at school and see people, but also like work.
Yeah. I mean, the idea of having a work-study job, on campus, you're acquiring, skills. You're learning. I know that you work in our office, and you're amazing. You also work in HR, so you're acquiring these other skills simultaneously while you're doing clubs, and you're doing very well and excelling in your academics too. So could you talk a little bit about, I'm aware that you got an opportunity to do a special program this summer, so could you talk a little bit about that?
This summer, I'm going to be researching at the Johns Hopkins University in Boston with a humanities fellowship. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to be researching yet, but I know I'm going to be working with other students from Baltimore and I think other places in the country on their projects, working with different professors and researchers to learn new things about my project and other people's.
How do you think that that will tie into, and could you share what your goals are in future, career-wise? And so how might that opportunity support what your long-term goals are?
Yeah, I'm studying history right now, but I want to go into the legal field, which the type of law I want to do, or anyway, you have to do a lot of research. So I feel like this opportunity will help me to build research skills and communication skills, being able to work with different people that I've never met before over the course of only 2 months.
Yeah, that's an amazing opportunity, and I'm sure you'll go down there and represent us well. I'm very excited for you. Look forward to hearing what you're able to. Now you did share that you will be a second generation Capital Community College alum. So could you share a little bit about that?
Sure. My mom went back to school a couple years ago and started here at Capital. She's going to be graduating next month from Central, and she actually went through the CCAP program.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and is going to be using what she learned from there and from Capital and from Central to go on.
Awesome. Yeah, our CCAP program is a program that allows students, it's a partnership. Did she work at Travelers? Or Yeah, and so we have an amazing program called the EDGE program with Travelers, and so students will start here. They'll have the opportunity to work at Travelers, and then Travelers will actually pay for them to complete their bachelor's degree while they're continuing to work there. And so the Travelers EDGE program is in its 15th year. And so once again, an amazing program, and I'm looking forward to congratulating your mother when she's graduating from Central. And so we're in the midst of recruiting now for the fall, and so we're excited. It's April. A lot of students have made up their minds, and there are others that still haven't yet. So could you give a little bit of advice to people thinking about where they want to be this fall, why they should pick Capital?
I think that if you are confused, Capital is one of the best places. It's I feel like it makes it a lot easier to kind of sort out where you're going. It's a community college, so you're not going to be placed out of your element randomly, and there's people here who want to help you.
Yeah. In addition to the cost, right? And so one of the things we tout oftentimes is the affordability, and we're able to make sure that students are able to afford college without amassing debt and things like that. So we're very, very proud of that. So I did want to thank you, for coming in to share your story. I think it's important for us to story tell, right? And this idea that you're helping other students or those trying to figure out what they want to do by sharing your experience. So I definitely wanted to thank you for doing that today.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome.